And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Life from the Inside Out with Kris. And we've been having some interesting discussions, looking at topics like value fulfillment, prosperity, thinking, and some of the differences between those types of things. And yeah, as always, it's super interesting hearing what Kris has to say about that.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got something up his theoretical sleeve.
Yeah,
Even I don't. Well, I have short sleeve, but he has no sleeves at all. So
yeah. Who knows what kind of sleeves there are there? Yeah, whatever sleeves they want, I suppose.
yeah, he probably creates his own sleeves
There you
or
go.
not.
All right. Well, I don't have a whole lot to say. Oh, you did launch the website, I believe. A new website,
Yes,
yeah.
after a couple of months, because our website suffered a fatal error when WordPress tried to do an upgrade, and it encountered a defunct theme. The manufacturer just ceased to I guess, sell it or whatever, and disowned it. And when it didn't respond, WordPress crashed the whole site, and the only thing we had left was a bit of text.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
there was disheartening in one way, but it allowed me to work with my friend KP in Malaysia. And so he helped create a new website for chrischanneling.com based on my dreamlifecoach.ca website. We modified it to suit our needs, which was easier than starting from scratch because the old one just couldn't be used. It was finished. And finally, the other day, he sent me a text message and said, check it out. And
Yeah.
I was beyond happy, and I cannot express my gratitude sufficiently to KP for helping me. We did work a lot on it, but all the technical stuff he did, because the company he works for uses it, the same WordPress thing, which is called Elementor, and so he's well versed in it. And I think we created something very nice, and I like what it looks. We made it simpler to navigate than the other one. It flows very nicely, and some nice images on it, and just overall, I'm very happy with it. And it's easier for me to start navigating and doing any upkeeps I need, and to create new pages because I've kind of been learning it as well, because it's been at least 10 or 12 years since I worked in WordPress, because I used to do it a long time ago, and it's evolved almost beyond my comprehension. But I'm slowly starting to get back into it. So it's very nice to see it's up there. So it's channelingchris.com, and that's double N, one L, and a KRIS.com, channelingchris.com.
I know I've
And
been over to it as well. It's looking good. It's looking good.
yeah, I kind of like it. It's simpler in Outlook, and I there's some things that we still need to do. This is phase one. Phase two will incorporate the digital download store, where people can buy group sessions and stuff like that, workshops that Kris has presented over time. And this time, we'll start from the most recent going back, as opposed to older stuff going to the more recent. So things will be more up to date and relevant, I guess. Not that the others are not, but just interesting. So I'm very happy with that, and proud that my friend KP helped me create something that I like as well. I can navigate.
Well, very cool. I'm interested to see the evolution of that. And if you're listening and you haven't checked it out yet, head on over.
Yep. And so we'll see what kind of response we get.
There we go.
So I feel him around. Now we trust that you are comfortable
Yes, very comfortable. Thank you.
and a very peachy good afternoon to you.
Oh, thanks, Kris.
You might want to explain.
Well, we had a long conversation about peaches and the evolution of peach trees prior to the episode Serge and I were talking about. So you must have been peeking, I suppose.
When have we not? Now, we would like to address perhaps a particular kind of approach, a particular approach to reality creation. Especially the kind of reality creation that you and your species are involved in, because it is rather unique. This is not the kind of reality creation that is clear across the board for every single living entity. But for those who desire to embark upon special adventures, just like in your world, not everyone wants to go on a water safari. Some people do, some people don't. When it comes to the particular plane of existence that you and your species participate in, of course, there are those entities who make a commitment, if you like, to venture forth into the creation of this particular plane of existence. There are many other entities who have other interests, other priorities, who want to pursue different kinds of ventures, not related to the same kind of issues that you participate in. What we want to approach this evening is perhaps a little bit of insights into this kind of production. Just like in your world, there might be people interested into specific ventures and others not. So certain groups of entities like to engage together with all of their different focuses or personalities in the exploration of specific kinds of results. And that speaks to the concept of reality co-creation, formed by those particular entities, whether you call them beings, souls, consciousness, or however you want to label them, that have a requirement for certain experiences and the learning environments. And the last one is extremely important, a particular learning environment. So this is a teaching on the nature of reality, asserting that physical reality, as you understand it, is in itself a projection or manifestation of inner non-physical realities. Your inner realities, therefore, are composed of consciousness, thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and so on. And that these, in return, can manifest into various forms of physical reality based on the needs and intentions of the consciousness involved. And this cannot be stated enough is that consciousness is primary, for it shapes and determines what ends up as an outcome, in your terms, physical reality, than the other way around. So in this way, individualized portions of consciousness, or souls, if you like, choose to embark on a journey of learning, of development, of exploration in various ways. So this means that there are certain entities only that participate in this particular kind of experience or experimentation. Not all entities do so, but a specific group come together and determine a specific course of action that offers experiences, lessons, and environments needed for their development, or, if you like, their evolution. And of course, not all entities participate in the one lesson. So this is important to understand. Therefore, there is the idea that you each create your own reality, and that this reality or outer world reflects your inner state of being. And it is compatible with certain interpretations that you also find in quantum physics, for instance, particularly the observer effect, or the idea that consciousness may play a role in determining reality. That cannot be understated. In fact, the statement itself requires and demands so much more exploration that you are just barely scratching the surface. Your species has come to a stage where you can begin to consciously explore quantum physics, which is the scientific equivalent of metaphysics. Meta in reference to the mind and its propensity to create the world, or physics, if you like. Does that make some sense to you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this determines a crucial element. It implies something unique and something both powerful and empowering. If you consider reality as a construct, therefore, shaped by the collective consciousness of the participating entities or souls, then it is conceivable that different groups of entities might co-create vastly different realities based on their unique, specific needs, desires, or developmental paths, which may mean that your reality is not the only reality, nor is it the end all and be all of realities. This is one particular plane or platform of reality amongst many others. And yours is based upon very unique and specific needs of the participating souls or selves. So there are many other kinds of realities, some so removed from your ideas of reality they would not even register on your particular perceptions. So removed are they from your concepts. And yours, in return, might be so removed from the concepts of other beings that your reality would not appear within their conceptual base of realities. So that also brings many different interesting ideas to the forefront. Therefore, it means that there might be realities completely outside of your current human comprehension or conceptualization. Just as this reality might be beyond the understanding of other groups of entities. These realities might operate under different laws or principles, and might even be based upon entirely different forms of existence or ways of experiencing their world. And some of them, again, might be so foreign to all of your ideas that they would simply not appear upon your particular radar. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I follow you. Mm-hmm.
This idea also finds certain parallels in various theories and philosophies. So you might, for instance, have heard about the multiverse theory from physics, where there may be countless universes, each with their own physical laws and constants, some of which might not be repeated in your experience of reality. So in the realm of metaphysics and spirituality, some traditions may speak of different dimensions or planes of existence, each with their own unique characteristics, which in itself raises interesting questions, therefore, about the nature of reality and also about the nature of any reality in itself. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, I'm following you.
And of course, these ideas are actually meant to provoke more profound questions about the nature of reality and your place within it. Questions like, what is the nature of existence? Is your universe one amongst many, each with their own rules and structures? What role does consciousness play in shaping reality or any of these realities? Are there possibly other forms of consciousness or existence that you can't currently comprehend or perceive? How do your beliefs, thoughts, and emotions interact with the fabric of reality? And to take it even further, what would be the fabric of reality under those particular conditions? So these particular kinds of inquiries straddle realms of both metaphysics and philosophy, as well as spirituality and theoretical physics. And these can all be challenging due to their complex and speculative nature. And contemplating them can also broaden your understanding and perspectives. And even if you don't fully understand the nature of reality, these discussions may encourage the consideration of how your own thoughts, beliefs, and emotions shape your personal reality and influence interactions within the world around you. Insights in this way can actually lead to personal growth and a greater sense of agency in your own life. Therefore, as your scientific understanding evolves, and as you continue to integrate that with philosophical and metaphysical insights, perhaps you will indeed come closer to answering some of those profound questions about the nature of reality and existence. And for now, these may remain only as fascinating areas of exploration and thought and speculation, but the seeds must start somewhere. And this is then the beginning of actual observations about the nature of reality. Eye-opening, mind-expanding ventures into the nature of what really is reality. Thus, as you delve deeply into these kinds of questions, you may begin to notice patterns and connections that might not have been apparent before. This can lead you to new insights and theories, each of which can serve as a stepping stone to deeper understanding. So, for instance, in the 20th century, you began to develop quantum theory, which drastically reshaped your understanding of the physical world, introducing concepts like superposition and entanglement that challenged classical ideas of locality and causality. These new ideas have in turn sparked further exploration into the nature of reality, consciousness, and their possible and potential interconnections. Moreover, inquiries into the nature of reality can open up dialogues between different fields of study. For example, there are ongoing conversations between physicists, philosophers, neuroscientists, and consciousness researchers that aim to bridge the gap between subjective experience and objective phenomena. And even if you never arrive at a definite answer to the question of what is reality, the journey of exploration is what leads you to transformative shifts in your perception and understanding of yourselves and your universe. And we say your universe for a very specific reason. Because your universe, whether you understand the concept or not, is not objective. Therefore, these particular shifts can influence how you live your lives, how you interact with others, and how you think about your place in the cosmos as you understand it. Does that make sense to you so far?
Yeah. Sounds like there's been well, we know there's been a lot of shifting ideas, the ones you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Indeed. And it gets even more interesting. Therefore, even if you never arrive at a definitive answer to the question of what is reality, because your species would like to determine what it is once and for all, and that is misleading. Thus, the journey of exploration can lead to transformative shifts in your perception and understanding of yourselves and your universe. This is one of the reasons for the reality, as it were, in the sense of pushing the boundaries into new perceptions, therefore new realities, over and over continuously. And we cannot state this strongly enough. New realities over and over continuously. That in itself may indeed be a profound perspective. That the notion that the very purpose of reality is different than what you have always thought about it. The very purpose of reality is to enable exploration, growth, and the continuous expansion of perception, an understanding that aligns with many philosophical and spiritual traditions. So the seeds of this kind of understanding have always been present, even in some of the oldest philosophies back to the Vedas and others. This is an ongoing journey of discovery and exploration, where each new insight, experience, or change in perception leads to a new reality. Each new reality, thus, serves as a platform for further exploration, learning, and growth. That is extremely important. So from this perspective, the goal isn't necessarily to find definitive answers or arrive at a fixed understanding of reality, but to continuously evolve and expand through the process of seeking and experiencing. And we cannot state this strongly enough. Therefore, this approach can also lead to a deep appreciation for the journey itself, for the process of questioning, learning, and evolving. That is why you have the journey. It can foster an openness to new experiences and ideas, and a willingness to let go of old beliefs, as difficult as it may seem for your species, and letting go of old beliefs and understandings when they no longer serve you. And at the same time, this journey can also lead to a greater sense of connection and unity, as you realize that your individual explorations of reality are part of a broader, collective journey of understanding and evolution. In other words, a journey of exploration and finding new mysteries. And each new mystery that you encounter invites you to stretch your understanding, to question your assumptions, and to engage with the world as you understand it in fresh and exciting ways. This continuous exploration keeps the journey interesting and dynamic. You might think of each mystery as a door waiting to be opened. When one door opens and you step through, you might not just find answers. You might actually find yourselves in a hallway filled with even more doors. It is the process of opening each door, of embracing and exploring each mystery. This is what fuels your growth and evolution. Not to try and find a definitive answer and then sit on your laurels, because that will never happen. Your own inquisitive nature, both human and spiritual or transcendent, urges you to discover more. One discovery leads to several other new discoveries, which lead to even more new discoveries. Therefore, while you may strive for knowledge and understanding, you can also learn to appreciate the mysteries for your own sake and for its own sake, for the sense of wonder it inspires and the endless opportunities for discovery that they provide. Therefore, your concepts of reality may not be what you think they are at all. Instead, there are series of discoveries and sets of notions meant to lead you to explore and discover that, even as quantum physics and metaphysics suggest, you create according to your needs. Thus, the concept of reality is far more fluid than ever imagined. Trying to understand the concept of reality is not to try and nail it down, but to discover how fluidic it is, how you must go with the flow, instead of trying to build a dam and hold the flow back. Thus, the concept of reality as a fluid, ever-evolving construct shaped by your thoughts, beliefs, and needs is a profound and transformative idea, and the profundity of it cannot be stated enough. It challenges the traditional view of reality as a fixed external entity that exists independently of your perception. It cannot exist independently of your perception because it is made up of your perceptions. That cannot be stressed enough. Both quantum physics and various metaphysical philosophies suggest that your consciousness plays an active role in shaping your experience of reality. This could mean that reality is not a static backdrop to your lives, but rather a dynamic, vibrant, interactive field that responds to your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, intentions, attitudes, and so on and so forth. Once you consider this view seriously, you may never go back. In this view, your understanding of reality is always evolving and always expanding. In spite of the idea that your species would like reality to sit down and be one thing only, reality cannot. It is not meant for that. It is meant for you to acknowledge that change and transformation is inevitable and part of the nature of reality. Thus, each new insight or discovery does not just add to your knowledge, it reshapes your perception of reality itself. So it is ever transforming itself with each new insights you get. You cannot escape that. You might pretend it does not exist, but you cannot escape it. In fact, you cannot escape your own nature nor reality, because the projection of the so-called material objective world is a part of your own nature. So you cannot escape yourself. So as you continue to explore and push the boundaries of your understanding, you're not just learning about reality, you're actively participating in its creation. You're co-creators in an ongoing venture, an ongoing process you call evolution and discovery. Engage in a fascinating dance with the universe. So you have the ultimate dance partner, if you like. the entire universe. So this particular perspective can imbue your journey with a sense of magic, wonder, and possibility. It invites you to stay open, curious, and flexible, and to embrace the adventure of living in a universe that's far more mysterious and malleable than you can ever possibly imagine. And we stress that, ever possibly imagine. And if this doesn't blow you away, it should. Reality, as you've been taught, may be nothing of the sort. Instead, it is fluidic, more fluidic than you can imagine. And possibly, the word imagined may be a profound key here. It is a profound key. You create the kind of reality you need to discover your truths. Again, you create the kind of reality that you need to discover your truths. And every time you discover a truth about yourself, your reality expands. Thus, you actively participate in the creation of your reality, that your imagination, your thoughts, your beliefs, and intentions can shape your experience is a powerful and transformative concept. And the key here, as suggested, is in the act of imagining or envisioning your reality. This concept also aligns with various principles that your internal state, your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, expectations, can manifest in your external reality, your so-called objective reality, which is a projection of your internal reality. If you but humbly accept this idea, then the act of consciously directing or creating with your thoughts and intentions become an essential tool in navigating your reality. So this isn't to say that you control every aspect of your world or lives in the classic sense. So these are collective realities, physical laws, and other factors a bit beyond your conscious understanding. But if you work with these main tools, your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, expectations, and so on, then you begin to get a glimpse of exactly what kind of factors provide structure to your experience and thus your existence. And within this framework, there is room for individual creation and influence. This perspective also encourages you to pay closer attention then to your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, your beliefs, and to recognize the power they have in shaping your experiences. It can inspire you to cultivate a more positive and empowering thought processes and to envision the kind of reality you want to experience. And perhaps most importantly, this view highlights the importance of exploration, discovery, and growth. It suggests that your reality is not a fixed, predetermined stage, but an evolving landscape that reflects your journey towards understanding and self-realization. In this sense, reality itself becomes a canvas for expressing, exploring, and discovering your truths. It becomes a living, flexible canvas. And this is in many ways an extremely poignant observation. Each of you create unique collective realities, physical laws, and other factors that provide a certain structure to your existence. And within this framework, there is room for individual creation and influence. Within certain structures, you push boundaries and use the stuff of creation to carve out a platform from which you play act your ideas into constructs, idea construction. And you use these to define and redefine both yourselves and your so-called observable world. This is the essence of this particular concept. It's a complex balance between the so-called elements you perceive as fixed and immutable, like so-called physical laws, and the malleability of your individual experiences within those structures. As human beings, you operate within a shared physical reality with certain established principles that guide the behavior of matter and energy. However, very importantly, within this shared stage, you each have your own unique perspective and capacity to interpret, engage with, and shape your personal experience. This interplay creates a rich and dynamic existence. Consider artists working with a particular medium. The material has its inherent properties and constraints. But within those boundaries, there's virtually limitless potential for creativity and personal expression. In a similar way, you engage with the stuff of reality, working within certain constraints, but constantly pushing boundaries and using your creative abilities to mold your experiences, your minds, your beliefs, your imagination. These are the tools you use to navigate and shape reality as you know it. Through them, you continuously define and redefine yourselves and the world around you, engaging in an ongoing dance of creation and discovery. The more you learn and grow, the more skilled you become in this dance, and the more nuanced and rich your creations and experiences become. So we encourage you all to dance as you have never danced before and completely abandon yourselves to the rhythm of the dance, because that is the rhythm of creation itself. And that is something that your species does quite naturally, but resists because you are afraid of your own divine creative abilities. You have been convinced to be afraid of your own divine abilities. So we encourage you to examine the nature of your reality, the nature of your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions and attitudes and so on. And to recognize your own abilities and powers. Does this make sense to you?
Well, you've thrown out some pretty massive concepts in this episode, but yeah, it makes sense.
Indeed, we would just like to, as you say in common vernacular, take it up a notch.
Oh,
Or
okay.
perhaps
Thought
two
we
or
were
three of
already
them.
up a notch, but okay.
If you can look at reality and discover new things all the time, then you are taking it up a notch or two or three or four. That is the purpose. You do not necessarily regress, but you progress in that particular way. And you have been using these tools since time immemorial. Some of them you have been using repeatedly in such a way that you hold yourselves back simply because you are afraid of your own potential and what it could do to you and your universe. So put aside your fears, your self-imposed restrictions and limitations. And in common vernacular, kick some metaphysical ass. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I'll make that my homework, I guess. And anybody who's watching can do the same, I
Indeed.
suppose.
Anybody watching, listening, can take notes and send in inquiries, things that you would like to explore further in this line. And it would be most interesting.
This would be a great opportunity. Put those in the comments and of the video, and we'll see what we can do in future episodes.
Indeed. In the outline of the video itself, you can post, you can add this. It can be part of the process itself. And we welcome any inquiry in this line. Now, do you wish to take a break?
Well, I think that's going to be one episode for tonight, Kris. So if you have any closing thoughts for wrap this one up.
In spite of the heavy tone we might have included here, the main idea is to get out of your own ways, to have fun with your reality. It is not so fragile and brittle that it will break. In fact, it is extremely robust. As you are as a species, so take a chance on yourselves this time and push through your boundaries of fear and allow yourselves to explore just what you are all about. It is not just about what is the universe, but what are you? So with that, we then thank you for the opportunity to express so nicely, and we return Joseph to you.
Thank you, Kris.